Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
Sorry. This is it again. I went into autopilot. Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, a pop culture podcast that you are currently watching right now, but maybe not for long.
And also maybe not your favorite.
Man, having me sit right here is really fucking with your vibe right now.
It's fine when you sit there or here.
Well, at least I didn't feel like I needed to say my name was Kristen this time. That is the first time in a long while that I have not felt the need to be like, no, my name is Rachel, not Kristen.
Well, the reason I prefaced it that way is because we're going to finally talk about Spencer.
You are your own weapon.
Will they kill me, do you think?
The background information for this is on a whim. We decided
We got in big trouble.
Y'all fucking hate me.
Big mad.
Big mad.
We were doing a series of recordings and we were like, let's react to the Spencer trailer because, okay, I was under the misconception that YouTubers, when people react to things, that people were genuinely interested in a organic reaction. I didn't realize it was what that means to so many people is hype.
Yeah.
They just want hype. They don't actually want to know what people think. And so that was my first issue. Because
Joke's on you. It's our third highest viewed video.
No, because I thought, oh, this is kind of controversial casting.
Yeah.
Let's see what this is like. And as I recalled it, we had mixed response and we had interesting things to say. You were into it. I was split. You were not really feeling it. And you would have thought that we were like clubbing seals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to finish this out, just to land this plane, we all sat down and watched Spencer.
Sure did.
And this is our opinion, our entirely subjective opinions about a movie that we watched.
We also got retroactively reamed for not having enjoyed Jackie.
I didn't really care for her.
Yeah.
So that is, and I'll just come out and say it. That is the issue for me. What is his name?
Pablo Larrain.
Pablo Larrain. I just don't particularly care for his style.
Yeah, you might just not vibe with his style. That's totally fine. Because I don't really care for Jackie. I liked this so much better, but I don't vibe 100% with the style.
This isn't an indictment of the quality of the art. I mean, I think it was a very, well-made movie, but my handful of issues were, first of all, I did find it very pretentious, indulgent, sort of, there was a word I was going to use, and now I cannot remember what it was, and I didn't write it down. But I did just sort of, I felt like it was very like...
It insists on itself.
Kind of. I think Kristen Stewart looked great. I think she was good. I've heard that you said that a couple people who knew her were like, this is the closest we've gotten.
Two people who because apparently Diana was friends with the chef. The chef Darren is real.
Sean Harris.
And apparently he was friendly with her and he knew her. And so him and also the man who was Diana's driver for a really long time, both were like, out of everyone who's ever played her in a movie or TV show, Kristen Stewart is the one who captured her mannerisms and her voice the best, which I think is great.
In 2013, NBC had a little musical dramedy show called Smash. And one of the plots of that is they need a star to come in and play Marilyn Monroe. So they hire Uma Thurman playing an Uma Thurman-esque person.
Okay.
Because she's a star. And she's just not really suited for the role.
She's 11 feet taller than Marilyn Monroe.
And the gag is she's actually pretty decent. Sure. She's just not a perfect fit. Yeah,
especially when you have Megan Hilty standing literally right there.
And so that's kind of how I feel. My personal opinion is that I think Kristen did a fine job. I do not think she embarrassed herself. But at no point was I not watching Kristen Stewart impersonating someone.
Sure. And I think that is something, in my opinion, that this and Jackie both suffer from, is I saw so much hype beforehand about how the actress just melts into the role. And I'm like, pick someone less famous. Pick someone whose face I haven't been looking at since they were 12, and maybe then we can talk
Or
about it.
have them not playing a real person that we're so familiar with.
I mean, the actress that played Diana on this most recent season of The Crown was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Was great. And she was slightly unknown.
Emma
She did
Corrin?
Emma Corrin, yeah. She did a spectacular job. So then I guess the other elephant in the room is my opinion, how I thought that Kristen Stewart did, because y'all were big mad at me. Because
It was you specifically.
me specifically, yes, me and my bangs. So
Although I do think Glasses Girl got told to shut up.
No,
Most
people liked
certainly.
Glasses Girl.
Oh, people liked
You needed
Glasses
to get
Girl.
away from the two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Was the consensus.
I'm in this for life. I don't know what to tell you.
But so Kristen Stewart personally is not my favorite actress. She is a lovely person. She is absolutely stunning. Her campaigns for Chanel are really sexy.
That's
She's
true.
great. I let her, she does her job. She just is not an actress that I particularly vibe with. When we were done with this movie, I said she was the least of my issues for this film. She, for me, did a very, very good job.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in with little to zero expectations, probably negative expectations. She did a really good job. And as you said before, like the driver and the chef said that she did really well. That's because she already talks from down here.
Yeah.
I was going to
And
say,
she because Diana also talked
Yeah.
with her chin to
Yeah.
her chest, and it was very through the lashes, right? Kristen Stewart kind of does that. But
it was an entire performance delivered like this.
but it was perfect because
But it
that's
works
how
for Diana.
If you
Yeah.
watch interviews, she is down like this. It's a whole thing about her. So I really appreciated that. And she also didn't do this thing, which is a Kristen Stewart thing that she does, which is fine. We all have our tics. If I don't use my hands, my heart will stop. You know what I mean? But I thought she did a very, very good job.
Yeah.
She was not the issue in this movie, but it was Kristen Stewart pretending to be Diana.
So for me, the exact moment where I was like, oh, this is a good movie, I just don't really like it,
Mm-hmm.
is the moment where Sally Hawkins, what is her name?
Maggie.
Maggie. It's the moment where Maggie and Diana go to the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And Maggie literally is like, spoilers. I don't remember if we said this. This is a hard spoiler.
This is a hard spoiler show. We're going to talk about it. It's also history. So
Yeah.
well, that part.
that part I don't know if it's history.
And Maggie is just sort of like, I'm gonna drop a bomb. I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And it shocks. It just completely sends a jolt of energy through Diana
Mm-hmm.
and the movie.
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
entire body relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I mean, as I'm saying it, I'm aware that that's most likely the artist's intent.
Mm-hmm.
There's just this whole, like I said, the entire movie elevated for me. And they have this moment of joy between the two of them. And it's genuinely the first time we see Diana actually laugh.
Because
Mhm.
that even in the scenes where she's with her kids, alone with William and Harry,
She's
it's like
performing for them.
She's like happy, but it's like veiled, very veiled happiness.
Well, it's also like she's kind of like being a maniac a little
Yeah.
bit, like because she's not well. Like
No,
she
she's
is
definitely not well.
drowning in mental illness, and like she's just unwell.
It's like that TikTok sound. I am drowning. There is no sign of land.
Yeah.
And I'm just like the whole time I was like,
Yeah,
Because that
it's-
is something that now that we talk about it, now that I think about it, is interesting. Is this is documenting a person and a period in time, sort of right before the conversations about
Mhm.
like mental health, about struggle, about
Mhm.
depression, about all of that. We're just starting to talk about that stuff now, and so this is a time right before it, but also a culture that is so steeped in the opposite
Yeah.
of the not
Mhm.
doing
The
that.
stiff upper
well, I
lip.
mean, like, think about even so, like 30 years later, Meghan Markle is like, I want to kill myself because
Mhm.
of this. And instead of what happens to Diana, Harry's like, peace, we're going
Yeah.
to America. And so it's like 30 years of difference made all the difference,
Mhm.
essentially. And I think that is like crazy.
I didn't care for the music.
Oh my God.
Which, I mean, it was on purpose.
Let's
like,
just
I get
scat
it.
for 40
Jazz
minutes and
scatting.
then we'll see
God.
what it sounded like.
Because, I mean, we were right there with Diana. I mean, just slowly descending into madness.
It is obviously meant to be portraying her like inner vibe, but like
It worked. I was agitated.
Yeah.
I was very agitated and I didn't like
2
it.
hours of just like freestyle jazz is like not my vibe.
And it definitely did feel claustrophobic.
Oh,
I felt
yeah.
claustrophobic and I didn't like it.
And they sewed her curtains shut.
Yeah. Mhm.
Unreal. I just like I can't. It's horrible.
Yeah. And again, I want to stress that, I'm kind of explaining reasons why the movie worked.
Mhm.
I'm just saying I didn't enjoy.
No, I think it was like exactly. It was super successful at what it was trying to do, which is like get us in her headspace on this like 3-day Christmas trip where every outfit she has is planned, and she's like, first of all, they were trying to make her wear that red thing to that photo where everyone else is in the drabbest shit possible. So you're making her stick out like a sore thumb. So what? You can point at her later.
And that was part of my
And then
issue.
she ends up wearing that turquoise, more like teal turquoise thing instead, and she blends in so much better with the whole family.
I was also frustrated because I was like, yes, obviously I understand her plight in this moment, but what she was doing is making all of the workers' lives harder.
But the workers all loved her,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which is what the chef said. The chef
yeah.
was like, they don't laugh about you.
I also guess that I had a more romanticized impression of the royal family because you guys were talking about how awful Charles is, and that was news to me. I thought he was misguided or misunderstood.
No.
And so I was always team Camilla because I was like, just let him be with who he wants to be with. Like,
Well, and they are now, but I mean, I agree with you to a point where it's like,
but I haven't like studied the minutia of it.
where it's like, if only being married to a woman who used to be divorced weren't such a black stain, we could have potentially not ruined 7 people's lives.
Because he's the villain in this.
Yeah.
The queen. The queen, I kind of loved the queen, and she really shouldn't have been in more of it. But I could have gone with
her name is Stella Gonnet, and I thought she was great. She was she looked the part,
and she had big like.
Well,
like she was almost impressed.
They have just that one tete-a-tete kind of on the stairs where the queen, or she's like, I liked the dress you wore for the address on television, and she's like, thank you. It's not the one my dresser chose for me, because Diana has been mixing and matching her outfits and wearing them when she's not supposed to. And I thought that was really, because she kind of has like a smile when she says
it's very sort of like, because
like game recognized game.
No, I was gonna say we're also covering season 1 of Gossip Girl, and so it was very Blair and Jenny Humphrey in like season 1, where it was sort of, you're not there yet, but one day you could be.
We'll see.
And the joke. Well, there's several jokes there, but it's like the queen's way is on its way out.
Yeah.
In a way that she didn't know at the time. I'm also kind of positive on Queen Elizabeth. I think that she's kind of a bad bitch.
I think she's as good as she can be.
Give all things considered.
I mean, she's adaptable.
and having come from the time she came
Yeah.
from, I think there's only so much that she can do.
Yeah, because I mean, she does have the establishment that she does have to pay reverence to, but she's also not an idiot.
Yeah.
So, like...
Also, she's like the longest running monarch in history.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like history of the world.
Right. There are parts of the royal family that I, like you, still have kind of a romanticized view of, but it's the establishment, it's the whole thing that I think is really awful.
Which this movie did illustrate, because it's like, she's the princess, she outranks these people, but they're still keeping tabs on her, even in like the refrigerator.
Timothy Spall in this movie is like an odd menace.
Did he? So twofold question.
Okay.
Number 1, what did we think about the Anne Boleyn plot? Number 2, did he put the book in there?
It seems like it, because he's the one putting the book away later.
Yeah.
So I think yes.
I didn't like the Anne Boleyn of it.
It was like it was one step too far. It brought it to this bizarre fantasy place that I was just sort of like not 100%.
Well, that's also part of the reason why I think Kristen Stewart's performance worked.
Sure.
is because it goes to a melodrama place.
Okay, fair. Also, I feel like if she had just been going that bonkers and we didn't have like a visualization of what she was seeing and feeling, it would have been even more awkward. I can see that.
My issue is I think it sounds like this is an outdated reference, but I think it kind of sounds like a 30 Rock, like girly show skit where it's like Princess
Lady
Diana is being haunted by Anne Boleyn's ghost. It
Amazing.
feels a little on the nose.
Yeah.
And
well, I think we were all haunted by that 40-foot tall portrait of Henry VIII that was in the dining room watching over us.
So there, it's like, sure, it's on the nose, but sometimes life be that way.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm talking myself into liking the movie. I don't know.
I did like it.
I just wish that we had only seen Anne Boleyn in Park House when she was considering when she was at the top of the stairs considering, spoiler alert, like throwing herself down the stairs, that she saw Anne Boleyn. But like before, when we saw her in the bedroom in the dream, when she was running down the hallway and going between her and it was too much. But like if we see her constantly thinking about Anne Boleyn in the book, then it would make sense. And when she's in her most dire moment, Anne Boleyn comes to her and says, "No, take it off."
Yeah.
And then she can say to Maggie later, Anne Boleyn saved my life. Because before that, it's just, like you said, it's really weird fantasy place.
Yeah, it's just a little stranger than I think the movie needed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because there's a point where it's like, I would have recognized, if I didn't know, I would have recognized that this was someone, a director or creator that I had seen. Mm-hmm. But I would have thought it was like Yorgos Lanthimos or something. I would have been like, this is... You would think that that's the kind of thing I would love.
Well, it has to be.
I think I just
specific.
Yeah, I think I just, in a general sense, I like a little bit more levity because I do like that it does sort of play out like a horror film as well, like an elevated horror.
Yeah,
for entire chunks of it.
Well, there's a ton. I mean, there's grief. That whole, grief and like loss of self and actual mental health problems, actual physical harm.
And the boys I didn't know the boys were in this. I was thinking it was earlier. Like I was thinking it was the 80s. I didn't realize it was like so late in her tenure.
She had William 1 year after they got married.
Yeah.
So there's like not really a before times for boys.
I like the scene with William trying to talk her off the ledge.
Oh, that was really triggering for me.
Earlier in the episode, she's like, if mommy's being really silly, you should say something. And then he's like, you're being really silly. And it's like...
That's the horror film of it all, that I don't think that the legacy of Diana, that's a story that we need to be telling. It's like, absolutely tell the story of like perhaps this really unhinged weekend, but it doesn't need to be told in such a fantastical horror way. Like her life in this moment absolutely was a horror show for sure. But like when the facts are horrible enough, they're horrifying enough.
We don't need to add in a beheaded queen.
Right. There doesn't need to be the stylistic part of it.
There is a moment, I was about 40 minutes in, and I was kind of like, so help me God, if there is a depiction of Kristen Stewart's Diana being beheaded.
Yeah,
my God.
I genuinely was like, we could be confronted with that.
Yeah, yikes.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you guys
I didn't, because I also feel like that's something that would have been on the internet.
Well,
we would have known that.
I was not following. So.
Well,
it's recent enough history, and there is, we're also far enough away from it now that we are starting to explore these stories. And I think that she is a subject that will be visited and revisited enough that I think it's fine to have this story. She goes on to do so much more.
Oh, and she already was.
Yeah.
This is like post the beginning of her AIDS work.
Yeah.
You know?
There's this, again, the scene on the beach. She's like, they condense you down. What will I be remembered as? And I was like, the people's princess.
She wasn't that yet.
I know, but it's like she ends up, and this is in a very dark and almost perverse way. It's like her untimely death aids that.
Yeah.
Because she's preserved in amber. Like she doesn't have time to, because I'm in a real you either die a hero or live long enough to become a villain place.
Lots of people are choosing the second.
If my idols are any indication.
No, I get what you're saying a lot. There's something about her legacy that was able to be preserved
And I don't think it's just because we're close to it. I think she will be
forever
legendary.
Yeah, forever, for sure.
Because she's so much more than like this part, you know? And I mean, I'm glad that some of this stuff came out and she did the interviews and wrote the books and all of that, because we did need to know this stuff. Like no one should have to suffer this way ever. No one should have to suffer in depression. No one should have to feel manic. No one should have to break down in front of their children this way. And their own family should not be torturing them.
Meghan and Harry were able to do what they did because she
of that.
did this. So,
well, very specific. I mean, in all those statements, Harry was like, "I'm not gonna let what happened to my mom happen to my wife. Like, I'm just simply not gonna do that." And so he was like, "We're leaving."
Victory is a series of tiny steps. You know,
steps.
It's like,
well, series of battles wins the war. So
I wanted to call out specifically the scene that she has with Charles at the like snooker table or whatever. I don't know, billiards. Don't hate me. I don't care. It's a pool table, but it's like red felt and it's got a whole stack of red balls. Is that snooker? I have no idea.
And then like the three on there.
But that scene was amazing. I thought Jack Farthing did a good job for as much as he had. But that scene specifically where she like doesn't want William to shoot at the like pheasant shoot the next day.
I feel like both of those actors did work because the writing in that scene wasn't it.
Not amazing. Me. Well, okay, but I think I think it was on purpose.
I get that, but it just felt very like we're volleying, which I understand in the moment. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing, but I just didn't love it. Super.
I really like that scene a lot.
I like it. Well, okay. I think it, like I was saying, I attribute the success of the scene to both of those actors because I did, for what the material was, I think they did a fantastic job delivering those lines because I think a lesser talent would not be able to keep that scene going.
Because for me, it felt a lot like this has been his entire life. And so he doesn't have anything to really get used to the way that she does. And so he already, when she met him, was already like everything that you say out loud is a code. Like you don't have, you're not saying actual words. And so I think that is why it was like stilted like it is. And also they don't speak. Well, and he invited Camilla to Christmas Day service like a prick. And they're both wearing the same fucking necklace. It's disgusting. I hate it.
He is
so mad.
The worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
And spineless.
Yeah.
Jack Farthing, though, not in this movie. Go to IMDb and look him up. His headshot is so fine. Just saying. Look at him. So fine.
When it started and we get the tagline. A fable from a true tragedy.
It's too much.
It's layer. It's a hat on top of a hat on top of a fascinator on top of a hat.
It's too much for sure. I didn't need that at all. Was there one of those at the beginning of Jackie?
Probably. I don't remember.
Well, if anything, it just kind of let me know. It set the tone for me, what I can expect.
So we had a counter that she could only sigh.
She only did one.
She did.
And it was at that.
We were going to give her 3 sighs.
Yeah.
And we had that neon grass.
Yeah.
And then, because the Fable is already doing
too much.
Heavy lifting.
The most. Yeah.
Like Louisa from Encanto.
Yeah.
But then, from a true tragedy, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. Also, the dead pheasant in the road. I was like,
I know, that was so stressful.
They do not run it over if that's something you need.
It's already dead. What does it matter?
I didn't need a close up of a tire running over a fucking pheasant. I didn't need it.
And how there's like the same between the like guard coming in and also the like cooks. It's all very militaristic. I don't know. I was all in all, it was fine. It was fine.
If you're still with us, I will say that I enjoyed it and I thought Kristen Stewart did a super great job. I don't know that I'll ever watch it again, just like I don't think I'll ever watch Jackie again, but I'm glad I saw it. I'm glad that she's got this performance under her belt because while I don't hold Twilight against her, I know a lot of people still do. So,
and I want to leave it with, I like what she did. I liked it. Okay. I liked her in it. Okay.
And she also doesn't hold Twilight against her.
No, I do not. Not at all.
I don't either.
Yeah.
It was just loaded the way you're saying it.
Yeah.
No, I just that was one of the things that we got criticized on, even though we said we didn't hold it against her. And that did not nobody made that clear. So we do not hold Twilight against Kristen Stewart.
Not at all. Because we figured out she was like, what, hard like 19 doing that?
So young.
Yeah, no, she
19 with a series of bad directors.
Yeah, you can see the growth.
Yeah.
She is a good actress.
Definitely.
She's just not my actress.
Pull the first half of that sentence and put it at the beginning of the episode.
Also, proof, evidence that there is such a thing as good wigs.
Yes.
Oh my God, her hair
the
looked
wig was
amazing.
real
Yeah.
good. It was
Amazing.
real good.
So it's out there.
Yeah.
You just have to find it.
If they'll, well, it's because they won't pay for it.
Yeah.
And how this movie had a wig, one of those production companies.
One of those production companies was like, you get the wig only. That's your job for this party is the wig
No,
only.
it's because men are somewhere deciding and they're like, you don't need 1,000. And it's like, yes, the Beyonce is wearing wigs. Those things are thousands of dollars.
All the time. 100% of the time, Beyonce's wearing a wig. We have the money. We have the technology. You can follow us on Twitter at soimwatching or Instagram at soimwatching the show. We also have a website, soimwatching.com, which links out to everything. And
I just was going to say thank you for all of our fans and friends and patrons and all of that.
Thanks for
I've been
hanging out
meaning
with us.
to hit that note a little bit more.
we should hit it at the beginning because
we really should.
No one's
We just-
still watching
no.
this.
No, but it's how we do what we do. So thank you.
Definitely. Yep. And then just like and subscribe and leave us
Do the thing.
a tasteful comment.
Please, for the love of God.
Bye.
Bye.